the end of another day. Same day as the previous recording that was done in the morning of this day, and now it's the evening. And, yeah, I mean, today was just a day of grinding, I guess. Yesterday was I suppose, probably maybe one of the first days where it was just very, chill and just methodically doing my thing. Doing my marathon distance walk. Listening to music, just kind of vibing, I suppose you might say. And, it probably has a lot to do with the fact that I slept in a hotel the night before. Even though I slept the same amount as I usually do, which is probably not enough, 6 hours or something. It's still kind of, the rest is more, there's a qualitative difference, right, I suppose you would say. And, being clean and, yeah, just not having the anxieties of ticks and predators that aren't even predators. Yeah, the hypochondria is sort of abates, right? Yeah. And, I don't know what else to say about today. Oh, yeah, well, I have issues with one of my feet, specifically the toe on my left foot. Small toe on my left foot, the pinky toe, I think you call it, right? And, okay, a couple of things here. So, my weight is unevenly distributed, so a majority of my weight comes down on my left leg because I have a slight leg length discrepancy. So basically, my hips are it jams my hips up, right? And so the right leg is longer, jams my hips up. Majority of my weight comes down on my left leg, or more of my weight comes down on my left leg. And of course, at the end of that, the most load bearing point of that is going to be my pinky toe on my left foot, and also that my left foot is also slightly wider than my right foot. Symmetry doesn't exist in an absolute sense with the human body, unfortunately. I've always had a mania for symmetry. That's one of my favorite lines from the book Malloy by Samuel Beckett. Just throwing that out there. One of my favorite pieces of literature. Very good. If you like modernist stream of consciousness type writing with a profoundly pessimistic bent, then Malloy is for you. Entirely plotless, almost kind of, no, it's modernist. I was going to say it's almost postmodern, but no, it's entirely modernist. The whole stream of consciousness thing is just like the quintessence of the modernist thing. It's the same with other canonical modernist pieces such as Mrs. Dalloway and Ulysses, for example. Yeah. Yeah, no symmetry exists within the human body, and particularly mine. And so, on top of the fact that I have the majority of my weight coming down on my left side, my left foot, the foot is also wider, and so it's crammed more into my shoe, and also has the added pressure of the weight coming down upon it. And basically, what that leads to is, when you're walking a lot, day after day after day after day, friction, right? And so very quickly, within the first day or two, I started to get a blister developing on the small toe. Basically, the whole toe kind of. Sorry, this is way too graphic, maybe for some people who are kind of squeamish. But anyway, the small toe basically, the whole thing kind of became a blister. And it was very painful to walk on. Every single step was painful. Eventually I burst it, drained it, whatever, dried out, and then the problem is that the skin shed, and then the new skin underneath was very like soft, and yeah, I mean it's not healing properly, and so it's just constantly just in pain, and I don't know, like the circulation I think is being sort of slightly impaired, and it just is very uncomfortable to walk on. And today was particularly uncomfortable, I think because of so much walking yesterday, and I could barely walk on it at all, and so I had to resort to riding the bike, even though I didn't want to. I had to take the pain of having the backpack on, because I guess it was more healthy, at least, a healthier kind of pain than the pain that's on my foot. Like, I feel like almost as if, like, my fucking toe might fall off if I continue just trying to walk on it until I let it, like, give it some rest, at least. And so I think I'm just gonna have to, like, push with riding the bike through the discomfort of riding the bike. But there are some advantages to it, actually, because I can cover, you know, like if I want to like just stick with my just vague sort of 40 to 50 kilometer distance a day, then if I'm doing that on a bike, it means I get to just take kind of as many breaks as I want to, really. I mean, I have like 8-9 hours or whatever to cover 50 kilometers on a bike, which is just nothing, really. And yeah, I kind of did some calculations earlier, and if I do like 50 kilometers or 50 to 60 kilometers, which is what I did today, and it really wasn't that bad. I mean, it was bad, but like, yeah, I get it to have as many breaks as I want, really. And so it's reasonably tolerable. I would rather walk, it's way more chill, but like, I just don't think I can at the moment. Like, I need to give my foot a rest for some time. But yeah, anyway, I did some calculations, and uh, think of like I could get to Warsaw within 14 days potentially. So that's, I don't know, nice. I guess I have some sort of thing in mind to kind of I don't know, whatever. Feel like I'm doing something. Feeling like I'm accomplishing something. That there's somewhere to go. There's someone to know. Blah 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 blah. All of this shit. But anyway, I realize that this is incredibly boring. It's boring to me. All this logistical stuff. So what's on my mind? What am I thinking? Well, not a lot really. Feel very empty. I'm just doing this monotonous task, this mission, and there's not a lot on my mind. I mean, there are things on my mind, but they're not like particularly deep. I kind of just feel like a shell, really, like a shell of a person. I mean, I think I've spoken about this before in these recordings, but it's like, you know, I reached this age of like 25, and I had this very like not profound, but like very like prominent like feeling that like my life had ended, and that this was all just extra time. Sort of like the best was behind me. The time, the formative years, right? The times that actually counted, they were all done. And this was sort of like now just the afterlife, the after party, the cool down period, slow descent. And yeah, I mean, still now, like 3, 4, 5 years later or whatever, like it's haven't really experienced or seen anything that's contradicted that. Unfortunately, yeah. Kind of similarly as to doing this, I haven't, this walk, right? Walking through these different countries every day, and just, I haven't seen anything, experienced anything that's been particularly encouraging about life, about future prospects for myself. It's all just very bleak and grim. Life in this world is not, well, I'm not adequately equipped for it, I don't think. I lack certain things that are necessary to find this satisfying, fulfilling, rewarding, to be motivated to take action in certain ways. I mean, there have been some things that have happened that have been like, oh, that's cool. Like today, or I mean, just like every day, like I at least get like one person, because I'm like walking with my bike, right? And I'll often, at least once a day or something, get someone that's stops who's also riding a bike, and they'll be like, oh, do you have a mechanical issue or something like this? Because, why would I be walking with a bike kind of thing, right? And I'm like, no, 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 I'm just walking. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And they continue on their way. And today I was taking on one of my many breaks by the side of the road. I was sitting there, and this van pulled up, this couple inside, and they asked me if I was okay and if I wanted a lift into the city. I was like 10 kilometers or something from Brunswick. And so they wanted to see if I wanted a ride. And yeah, I politely declined. Said I appreciated the gesture. And yeah, right now I'm like on the outskirts of Brunswick. I passed through Brunswick, and kind of decided to just like take an early-ish stop. Last night I was stopped very late, like at 11 or something, because of the whole blunder with trying to go to that other town and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Not much else to say, I think. Hmm.